It's the notification every ferry traveler dreads. Sailing canceled, weather conditions. While an alert only takes seconds to pop up and ruin a whole weekend, the process behind it is a high-stakes calculation. We're here to talk to the people who make the call and learn about the science behind those decisions. Is this like the pit?
We've never called it that, I don't think, but I guess if there's one area of the company that you could call a pit, this would probably be it, yeah.
This is Jason Boyd. He's not your average transit manager. He spent 28 years in the Royal Canadian Navy, commanding a massive warship before taking the helm as the director of BC Ferries Operations and Security Center, the nerve center behind that go, no-go call.
Things can go from 0 to 100 in one phone call here. Life at sea is life at sea, and the challenges at sea are the same for people in frigates or ferries.
Boyd Center runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
So we can look at Tsawwassen today, we can see what the traffic loads are, we can see what the weekend's looking like. So this sort of helps us anticipate what we can expect for traffic. And if we're making decisions around if we have to cancel a sailing where we might divert traffic or tell people to try somewhere else, this will help us inform that decision, right? There's no sense sending people to Duke Point if Duke Point's full for the day.
Their mission is total situational awareness, responding to any unforeseen incident, planned or otherwise, weather or otherwise. Under the Canada Shipping Act, the final say always belongs to the captain or master of the vessel. They have the power to override a green light call based on what they see in front of them. But they aren't working alone. When a Pacific system shows up on the weather models, the Ops Center bridges that gap between the raw meteorological data and the actual ships out on the water. It starts with a direct line to the experts.
And as we get closer to systems moving in, we'll usually bring in Environment Canada, the senior marine forecaster at Environment Canada. We'll discuss specific routes and specific areas and not only what the current conditions are, but what they're forecasted to be.
The next step is to translate those forecasts into real-time decisions. For that, BC Ferries uses a strict, data-driven framework, the Operations Limitation Matrix. Every single ship in the fleet has one, tailored to a vessel's individual limits. It's a color-coded threshold system that evaluates wind speed, wind direction, wave height, current velocity, and the mechanical health of the vessel. Green, all parameters are clear. The vessel sails. Red, docking is no longer safe, or the ship's stability is at risk. The vessel stays tied to the dock. Then there's orange, the gray area. The parameter limits are right on the edge, and this is where the math ends and the human element begins. This gray area is where the captain's real-time observations, experience, passenger comfort comes into play, and it's a calculation of how much time they can take for the data to refine before making the call. And that call is a balance between ship design, sea state, and the physical limits of a concrete dock.
I think Tsawwassen's a really good example. It's probably one of our more exposed terminals. In the winter, we often get pretty strong southeasterly winds there. And depending on the direction of the tide as well, if it's running with the tide, that amplifies things. If it's bucking against the tide, that introduces different challenges.
And different ships react to those forces in entirely different ways.
So a Spirit handles very differently than a coastal class. The power configuration is a lot different. How much sail is exposed to the wind affects that differently. The winds are really limiting factors on our ability to do the landing for the most part, whereas the sea state is limiting for the transit.
Sometimes things are fine out at sea, but the docking surge puts them past safe limits. In other scenarios, it's reversed. The docks are protected, but the open transit gets dangerously rough. That can be incredibly frustrating for passengers waiting at a relatively calm terminal. Despite the advanced modeling, there will always be uncertainty. So when a decision is sitting in that orange zone, that's when it comes down to the ultimate sensor, the experience of the captain.
Our job here in the Ops Center is to support the captains at sea, so whenever the captain makes his or her decision, then our job is to support them and make sure that we're communicating that decision out to our customers in a timely manner.
But we are living in a changing climate. Extreme, unpredictable wind events are becoming more frequent off our coast, pushing an aging fleet of vessels, some over 50 years, to their limit. Can newer, more modern ships help solve that? We asked BC Ferries CEO Nicholas Jimenez.
The tolerances are going to be higher. We can certainly get the very specific. We're actually working with the shipyard right now on the design specifications. And so we know in theory that these ships are going to run not just more efficient from a fuel economy perspective, but they're also going to have higher tolerances in terms of what they can withstand when it comes to the combination of wind and waves and tides.
I wish they knew that it wasn't just an off-the-cuff decision. And it's not as easy as just looking out the windows and deciding whether we're going to sail or not. There's a lot of things that we take into consideration. We're very rarely surprised by things, even though it may seem like we're making decisions at the last minute, because our hope is to try and continue the service as much as possible. We don't like to cancel if we don't have to.
Forecasts will get sharper, technology will advance, and new ship designs may offer better protection against the elements. But at the end of the day, sometimes, despite all the technology and forecasting, the sea still has the final say.